Light continues the N.J. Dawood translation of Al-Quran, and we'll, of course, have some adjustments and some commentary. In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful, a chapter we have reviewed and sanctioned, proclaiming in it clear revelations, so that you may take heed. Now, whether they're drawing attention to the fact that it's a step in the structure, one of the suar, or not, it amounts to the same, that each one has guidance, and guidance in a way that you're supposed to take special attention to it, even if you already have some ideas of the subject. The adulterer and the adulteress shall each be given 100 lashes. Well, the term is anybody who does any sex act outside of marriage, Let no pity for them cause you to disobey Allah if you are truly believe in Allah on the last day, and let their punishment be witnessed by a number of believers. The adulterer may marry only an adulteress or a misassociator, and the adulteress may marry only an adulterer or a misassociator. Truly believers are forbidden such marriages. Yeah, you don't marry somebody who that is their character trait. And there is the concept that if two people who are supposed to be Muslim have been caught for this, that the urge is for them to get married, because of course it's better for them to marry somebody that's Muslim than to end up, because of their fornicating lifestyle, end up with someone who isn't. Those defame honorable women and cannot produce 4 witnesses shall be given 80 lashes. It's anybody accusing somebody of unchastity. It's not just the women, but the focus, of course, is the women. Do not accept their testimony ever after, for they are great transgressors, except those among them that afterwards repent and mend their ways. Allah is forgiving and merciful. If a man accuses his wife, but has no witnesses except himself, he shall swear 4 times by Allah that his charge is true, calling down on himself the curse of Allah if he is lying. But if his wife swears 4 times by Allah that his charge is false, and calls down his curse upon herself, if it be true, she shall receive no punishment. And Numbers 5:11-31 has something similar. Because obviously, this thing where if they both have the same test, if they have contrary testimony, you're not going to convict just because whatever. But for Allah's grace and mercy, His forgiveness, and His wisdom, this would never have been revealed to you. But you're expected to testify on your behalf, whether you're innocent or guilty. Those who invented that slander, Safwan bin al-Mu'attal slandered Aisha because her whereabouts weren't known for part of a day or something like that, because she went looking for something that she lost. Do not regard it as a misfortune, for it has proved an advantage. Each one of them shall be punished according to his crime. As for him who had the greater share in it, his punishment shall be terrible indeed. When you heard it, why did the faithful men and women not think well of their own people and say, this is an evident falsehood? Why did they not produce 4 witnesses? If they could not produce any witness, then they were surely lying in the sight of Allah. But for Allah's grace and mercy towards you in the life and in the hereafter, you would have sternly been punished for what you did. You carried with your tongues and ordered with your mouths what you did not know. You may have thought it a trifle, but in the sight of Allah it was a grave offense. When you heard it, why did you not say it? Is it not right for us to speak of this? Allah forbid. This is a monstrous slander. Allah bids you never to repeat the like. If you are true believers, Allah makes plain to you His revelations. Allah is all-knowing and wise. Those who delight in the spreading slanders against the faithful shall be sternly punished in this life and in the hereafter. Allah knows, but you know not. But for Allah's grace and mercy, his compassion and forgiveness, you would have long since been punished. You that are true believers, do not walk in Satan's footsteps. He that walks in Satan's footsteps is incited to indecency and evil. But for Allah's grace and mercy, none of you would have ever been cleansed of sin. Allah purifies whom he will. Allah hears all and knows all. But not the rich and honorable among you swear to withhold their gifts from their kindred, the destitute, and those who have fled their homes for the cause of Allah. Rather let them pardon and forgive. Do you not wish Allah to forgive you? Allah is forgiving and merciful. Those who defame honorable but careless believing women shall be cursed in this world and the hereafter. There shall be a woeful punishment on the day when their own tongues, hands, and feet will testify to what they did. On that day Allah will justly requite them. They shall know that Allah is the glorious truth. I was talking to somebody on the phone who last year who was spreading lies about me, and I'm saying, my reputation is important. But other people got back to me after that conversation. But you only have half the views that they do on YouTube. It's like, that's not what anyone's talking about, and nobody thinks that person has a good reputation if they have the right mind. But the importance is to be careful about your about your reputation, about the situation, about your vulnerabilities and stuff like this. Unclean women are for unclean men, and unclean men for unclean women, but good women are for good men, and good men for good women. These shall be cleared of calumny. They shall be shown forgiveness, and a generous provision shall be made for them. Believers, do not enter the dwellings of other men until you have asked their owners permission and wish them peace. That will be best for you, perchance. You will take heed. If you find no one in them, do not go in till you are given leave. If you are refused admission, it is but right that you should go away. Allah has knowledge of all your actions. It shall be no offense for you to seek shelter in empty dwellings. Allah knows what you reveal and what you hide. Enjoin believing men to turn their eyes away from temptation and to restrain their carnal desires. This will make their lives purer. Allah has knowledge of all their actions. Enjoin believing women to turn their eyes away from temptation and to preserve their chastity, to cover their adornments, except such as are normally displayed, to draw their veils over their bosoms and not reveal their finery except to their husbands, their fathers, their husbands' fathers, their sons, their stepsons, their brothers' sons, their sisters' sons, their women servants, and their slave girls. Make attendants lacking in natural vigor, and children who have no carnal knowledge of women, and let them not stamp their feet when walking so as to reveal their hidden trinkets. Believers, turn to Allah in repentance that you may prosper. Let them not stamp their feet. Isaiah 3:16-18 talks about that sort of thing. Because there was code too. If people are fully modest in one way, there's other ways around that, people could say. And the males are supposed to be careful about their talk too. You're not supposed to be all super flirty and all that stuff either. And you're supposed to, but the men see the attention is drawn more to the men and their wandering eyes. But of course, the women aren't supposed to have the wandering eyes either. Take in marriage those among you who are single, and those of your male and female slaves who are honest. If they are poor, Allah will enrich them from his own abundance. Allah is munificent and all-knowing. Of course, all marriage is supposed to be fully consensual and all that, but let those who cannot afford to marry live in let those who cannot afford to marry live in continence until Allah shall enrich them from his own bounty. As for those of your slaves who wish to buy their liberty, free them if you find in them any promise, and bestow on them a part of the riches which Allah has given you. You shall not force your slave girls into prostitution in order that you may enrich yourselves. If they wish to preserve their chastity, if anyone compels them, Allah will be forgiving and merciful to them. Now, it's not conditional whether they want to preserve their chastity or not. They're supposed to be chaste. But yeah, people be pimping. But if you're forced to do something because you're uh, imprisoned or in somehow or something like that, if you're actually forced and you're not, looking forward to the situation or something like that, as something that you want, um, then you're forgiven for you know what you've been put through. We have sent down to you revelations showing you the right path. We have given you an account of those who have gone before you and an admonition to the righteous men. There's some passage somewhere about the somebody saying the words of disbelief because they were forced to, something like that. So even that, you're forgiven of what you've been, you don't have to die. Although, that's honorable too if you resist and you end up being martyred. And I've said men, um, we're talking all humans, we tend to have a gender neutral thing going on here. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. His light may be compared to a niche that enshrines a lamp. The lamp within a crystal of star-like brilliance. It is lit from a blessed olive tree, neither eastern nor western. Its very oil would almost shine forth, though no fire touched it. Light upon light, Allah guides to his light, whom he will. So obviously, religion itself in its purity is not an ethnic thing. Although there is an ethnic expression, there's an exoteric expression, there's a esoteric expression, but it's, even beyond that. And you see in some of the Vedic myths and some of that other stuff how light being on light being and glory of this world until you reach the spiritual worlds and further on and further on, and God is just so beyond, so holy compared to all the rest, but you draw the tension of the degrees. Allah speaks in metaphors to humans. Allah has knowledge of all things. His light is found in temples, which Allah has sanctified to be built for remembrance of his name. In them, morning and evening, his praise is sung. By men whom neither trade nor profit can divert from remembering Allah, from offering prayers, or from giving alms, who dread the day when men's hearts and eyes shall writhe with anguish, who hope that Allah will requite them for their noblest deeds and lavish his grace upon them. Allah gives without measure to whom he will. And yeah, to the believer, the goal is that there is no secular life. Your business is full of that divine consciousness, that consciousness of the divine, the principles and all that stuff. As for the unbelievers, their works are like a mirage in a desert. The thirsty traveler thinks it is water, but when he comes near, he finds that it is nothing. He finds Allah there, who pays him back in full. Swift is Allah's reckoning, are like darkness on a bottomless ocean, spread with clashing billows and overcast with clouds, darkness upon darkness. If he stretches out his hand, he can scarcely see it. Indeed, the man from whom Allah withholds his light shall find no light at all. Do you not see how Allah is praised by those in the heavens and those on earth? The very birds praise him as they wing their flight. He notes the prayers and praises of all his creatures. Allah has knowledge of all their actions. It is Allah who has sovereignty over the heavens and the earth. To Allah shall all things return. Do you not see how Allah drives the clouds and gathers and piles them up in masses which pour down the torrents of rain? From heaven's mountains he sends down the hail, pelting with it whom he will, and turning it away from whom he pleases. The flash of his lightning almost snatches off men's eyes. Allah makes the night succeed the day. Surely in this there is a lesson for clear-sighted men. Allah created every beast from water. Some creep upon their bellies, others walk on 2 legs, and others yet on 4. Allah creates what he pleases. Allah has power for all things. Now, I'm reminded of the beginning of Surah 35 that talks about pairs of 2 and 4, and and God adds or does outside of that what he wills. And when we talk about the light beings, in the Bible, it's not quite as clear that we're talking about it's all the same spiritual class. Because some people say, well, the word's not being used, and we're just drawing in clear that some of these things are same. But this is not talking about angels. It's talking about something else. We have sent down revelations demonstrating the truth. Allah pleases whom he will to guides whom he will to a straight path. They declare, we believe in Allah and the apostle and obey, but no sooner do they utter these words than some among them turn their backs. Surely these are no believers. And when they are called to Allah and his apostle, that he may judge between them, some turn away. Had justice been on their side, they would have come to him in all obedience. Is there a sickness in their hearts? Are they full of doubt? Do they fear that Allah and his apostle may deny them justice? Surely they are themselves the wrongdoers. But when true believers are called to Allah and his apostle, that he may pass judgment upon them, their only reply is, we hear and obey. Such men will surely prosper. Those that obey Allah and his apostle, those that reverence God and fear him, will surely triumph. Is it fear, or is it they have regard? They solemnly swear by Allah if you order them. They will march forth, say, do not swear. Your obedience, not your oaths, will count. Allah is cognizant of all your actions. And don't be so quick to make oaths. Focus on just saying and doing the right thing. Because if they're not taking your word, why would they take an oath? Say, obey Allah and obey the apostle. If you do not, he is still bound to fulfill his duty, as you yourselves are bound to fulfill yours. If you obey him, you shall be rightly guided. The duty of an apostle is only to give plain warning. Allah has promised those of you who believe and do good works to make them masters in the land as he had made their ancestors before them, to strengthen the faith he chose for them and to change their fears to safety. Let them worship me and serve none besides me. Wicked indeed are they who after this deny me. Attend to your prayers, render the alms levy, and obey the apostle, so that you may be shown mercy. Never think the unbelievers can escape their fate in this world. The fire shall be their home, an evil end. Believers, let your slaves and those who are under age ask your leave on 3 occasions. When they come in to see you before the dawn prayer, and when you have put off your garments in the heat of noon, and after the evening prayer. Now, dawn, as in, the horizontal twilight starts appearing. Not the sunrise. Some people, for some reason, think that dawn is the sunrise. And the evening prayer, aren't we talking about the dusk prayer? We're talking about the dusk prayer, not the evening prayer. But of course, the evening prayer time is done with, and then you pray the dusk prayer and go to sleep. One hopes, right? These are the 3 occasions which none may intrude upon your privacy. At other times, it shall be no offense for you or them to go around visiting one another. Thus Allah may explain to you his revelations. Allah is all-knowing and wise. And slave servants, whatever. Let us remember, in Islam, there's no vision of wars to capture slaves. That may be incidental, but that's not why we fight wars. And there's not this generational slavery thing that, And when they have reached the age of puberty, let your children still ask your leave, as their elders do. Thus Allah may explain to you his revelations. Allah is all-knowing and wise. It shall be no offense for old spinsters who have no hope of marriage to discard their cloaks without revealing their adornments. Better if they do not discard them. Allah hears all and knows all. It shall be no offense for the blind, the lame, and the sick to eat at your table, nor shall it be an offense for you to eat it in the houses of your own children. your fathers, your mothers, your brothers, your sisters, your paternal uncles, your paternal aunts, your maternal uncles, your maternal aunts, are your friends, are in houses with the keys of which you are entrusted. It shall be equally lawful whether you eat together or apart. When you eat, enter a house, salute one another in the name of Allah, and let your greeting be devout and kindly. Thus Allah makes clear to you his revelations so that you may grow in wisdom. They only are true believers who have faith in Allah and his apostle, and who, when gathered with him upon a grave occasion, do not depart until they have begged his leave. The men who ask your leave are those who truly believe in Allah and his apostle. When they ask your leave to go away on any business of their own, grant it to whomever you please, and implore Allah to forgive them. Allah is forgiving and merciful. Do not address the Prophet in the manner you address one another. The apostle, the messenger. We're not using the term be here, right? Rasul. Allah knows those of you who steal away, concealing themselves behind others. Let those who disobey his orders beware, lest some affliction or woeful scourge be visited upon them. Surely to Allah belongs what the heavens and the earth contain. He has knowledge of all your thoughts and actions. On the day when they return to him, he will declare to them all that they have done. Allah has knowledge of all things. And remember what occurred with the, what occurs in Surah 49, about speaking to the Prophet in a different way. What is where the heavens and earth contain? He has knowledge of all your thoughts and actions. On the day when they return to him, he will declare to them all that they have done. Allah has knowledge of all things. And I interviewed somebody who talked about the three godlike powers. Well, all-knowing. Who is all-knowing except one? Who is all-powerful except one? Who is omnipresent except one?